and welcome to Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. It's going to be a new D&D campaign. We're excited to get started. Alright, I think first of all, let's go through and just introduce our players and our characters. I will start with Susanna. You want to describe your character and yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Susanna. I shall be playing I guess I'm the one boring character. I am a male variant human, and my name is Earl Grey, and I am a knowledge cleric.
Okay, and I'll move to Jesse. You're still muted now.
Okay, hello. My character's name is Jack Lanou. I'm a male turtle and a paladin.
All right. And Megan?
My name is Dream of Dew, and I go by Dewey. I am a girl tabaxi bard.
All right. And Alyssa?
Hello, my character's name is Keshasi. She's an Air Genasi / Storm Sorcerer. Pretty fun.
All right. So our story so far, we started in the city of Baldur's Gate, where a couple months ago we had Jack and Earl and Keshesi met up and kind of formed a group that was kind of a freelance crime fighting, kind of like investigating and working like as a bounty hunter, odd jobs here and there. They just had a job where they discovered and uncovered a cult of Yuan-Ti snake people who were stealing and murdering, and it was a bad scene. They cleaned that up. And in that process, they met Dewey, who is a member of the Avowed of Candlekeep. And she knows that the Avowed has been looking to hire on an adventuring party for a big mission. And it seemed like a good fit. So now the entire group is on their way to Candlekeep. All right, and this is we are in the year 1493 DR. That's Dale Reckoning years. So way back 1,493 years ago, there was a peace treaty in the Dale lands, and it was such an event that they've decided to measure their years around that. So the year 1493, and it is the month of Eliesis, which is basically Fantasy August. So it's been a warm summer. You guys have been marching down the coastal highway. Let's see. Switch to the map again. You guys left from Baldur's Gate, and it is an approximately 8 days travel to Candlekeep. So you guys have been traveling for a bit. You've turned onto this road towards Candlekeep. It's called the Way of the Lion. You've headed down that way, and you are approaching your destination. So I will set the scene there. If there's anything you guys wanted to say or do along the way. I'd say it's about midday.
So I think we had said that, like, I got some books that we'll be using for them to be able to get in, right?
Yeah, you were just previously at a large bookstore in Baldur's Gate, so you have some personal belongings, and you have found some other books that you think would be acceptable as an entrance gift, because you know that the entrance to Candlekeep, they require an admission fee, and the admission fee is a donation of a book that they do not already have. So it doesn't necessarily even need to be an expensive book or a popular book. It's just something that will increase their collection. And you have a few that you think might be contenders for that.
Okay.
And
So, I mean, I would probably just be spending time like explaining that and telling them.
Yep, you can kind of explain the process. Since they are potentially going to be hired, you can have one entry fee will be enough for the whole group. You don't each individually need to bring your own.
Okay.
And they will do a little bit of an interview at the gate to. It's just kind of a security measure. There is a large wall around Candlekeep and one main gate to get in and out. They protect it pretty well. So you can explain the whole process.
And I will probably play my Jaza to, a little entertainment to make the drive a little easier.
Okay.
It's a job.
You can describe it.
It's like a fiddle made, like if you imagine, like it's like a tropical version of a fiddle. It's made with like a coconut and like horse hairs and that type of thing.
And you play it with like a bow.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and make a performance check. First roll of the campaign.
Oh, okay. 16.
16? All right. Yeah, you guys think this is a strange instrument you may not have seen before, but it sounds pretty good.
You know what? Since I've got my brother's flute with me, I would like to try to play along and see if I can do an accompaniment.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make a performance check.
We're just going to be a band. That's all we need.
Yeah.
That would be a 12.
Okay. You kind of don't know the song that Dewey's playing, but you follow along, and it's not too bad.
I think, is it my turn? I'm gonna do my shell defense and go inside of it.
Okay.
I'll make
you guys,
bassy sounds from the interior.
Okay, yeah, you guys are walking along playing, and all of a sudden you see Jack, your total friend, just stop and shrink into his shell. And he starts, I assume, are you like humming along? And it's just echoing?
Yeah. I'm carrying the bass and the rhythm along.
So you guys kind of just stop along the road and have a little jam session?
Good times, good bonding.
Like travelers going by us, like, is there any chance some of the travelers are like throwing us some spare coins?
Let me see.
Right.
Along your journey so far, it hasn't been too crowded along the road, especially since you've moved off onto the Way of the Lion. There are fewer merchants coming through here, but you do occasionally have some passerbys, you have some travelers, you have some merchants, you have people coming and going, but it's not too many. I'd say maybe you've passed maybe 10 people today.
Cool.
Okay, so I assume eventually you continue and you make your way to Candlekeep. And I have a picture there. So this is about what you see. When you get to the end, you come up to the Sea of Swords, and there's a peninsula jutting out that has this crazy set of towers and castles and walls and everything.
The movie Tangled, it looks like that kingdom.
But like the darker version.
So Candlekeep rests atop a long rising crag of volcanic rock that juts out into the Sea of Swords, whose waves crash against the rocks below the steep purple-black cliffside. The Castle of Tomes, as it's sometimes called, is surrounded by a high stone wall with but one apparent entrance, an arched gateway constructed from a black crystalline substance. And you can see there are 5 purple-robed monks that stand outside of the arched black gates. So, are you continuing forth?
Yeah.
Right.
Do I recognize any of them?
You know that the people who kind of stand out front, they rotate every so often. So you probably have seen them around before. You may not know exactly who's on duty right now.
I know Larry. Larry looks familiar. We've gone past each other a few times, so I'll give him like a, one of these.
Okay. When he's kind of on duty here, if he's not the parlaying monk, he doesn't really react to you. They're kind of all business at the moment. But one of them does come forward and says, "Welcome to Candlekeep. I assume you want to gain entry?"
Yes. I've made some new friends. I think they'd be really great for a new job that we've got cooking. I've got this book. What book do I have? What do I want to give them?
So you can use one of the ones in your inventory, or you can make up one that say you took from the bookstore.
There was Elves Marital Customs. We'll go with that one.
And okay, he will accept it and says, great. So, welcome back, Sister Dewey. And he will take it and bring it back to the others, and he hands it to them, and they start analyzing it. And he comes back, and you see him with his hands. He starts to cast some kind of spell, and so he goes around. It's like, could each of you tell me your names?
Earl.
Oh, what's your name?
His name, I have it written down.
You tell me yours first.
His
Tell you
name,
mine.
my name is Gracious. I am the parlaying monk here at Candlekeep.
Oh, I'm Jack Lanou, like a canoe.
All right, Jack Lanou like a canoe.
These are my friends.
And,
My name is Cassie.
all right. And what is your purpose here?
What's your purpose here?
I'm the parlaying monk.
Interjecting here, is there a guy that I know? I know there's like all these levels of people here, but like one of the people that I know that I would be wanting to bring them to, that like I know they have a big job, essentially.
Basically, once you get through the door, you will talk to the keeper of the Emerald Door, and that's the person who's going to arrange everything.
Okay.
You just need to like get through the gate first.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll explain, like, these are a new adventuring crew to help with a new expedition that we've got going on. I think they'll be a really great help. As you can see, they're a very interesting group.
Okay, and yeah, he'll go kind of through with you guys one at a time and just ask you basic questions like who you are, what you're doing, where did you come from, and you all basically have the same answer because you're all here for the same reason and just came from Baldur's Gate. So after a brief interview, he goes back to the other four, and they kind of chat for a moment, and he will come back, and the gates open, and he says, "Be welcome here, seekers. So long as you treat books with the reverence they deserve, eschewing fire damp the torn page and the removal of lore from the eyes of others, cross the yard ahead of you, and give your name to the keeper of the Emerald Door. You'll be provided with food, a bath, quarters in which to sleep, and a moot with the monks who will brief you on your mission." And he wishes you well, and lets you in.
All right, they weren't that bad after all.
Yeah, it was a bit of just a formality, it seems, but especially with Dewey here, you had no problem with the security getting in.
These guys are pretty cool.
As you walk through the gate, you notice a brief stinging sensation, and Dewey will quickly inform you that that's the desalination mythal. There's all kinds of like magical defenses here, and one of them is cleansing the salt from the air so it doesn't ruin all the books from the sea air. So what you felt was basically all the salt on your skin just getting burned away. But the front gates open up to the eastern end of a spacious cobblestone courtyard. Dewey knows this as the Court of Air, and there's a handful of buildings on the southern end, and there are 12 towers along the northern end. And on the far side of the courtyard, set into the western wall, is the Emerald Door, and you can see it glowing with a subtle green hue. And an aged, white-haired male human in an emerald green cowl stands near the Emerald Door. Assume you guys head over there?
Yeah.
Okay. And similar, he will welcome you, and I can just skip ahead, and he'll make arrangements with another couple monks to get you set up. You will get a room in the. I believe it's called the Hearth. Oh, I lost my whole book. I need to open it again. No. That's the House of Rest. The House of Rest is basically an inn. They'll get you set up with a room there. The rooms are nice because there's magical wards here that dampen the sound, so there's very little disturbance from other guests. And yeah, one of the other buildings is called the Hearth. This is basically a big dining hall. You are welcome to go there to socialize, relax, eat. And it also doubles as a shrine to the gods Denir, Malil, and Gond. And another large building is the House of the Binder, which is a large temple dedicated to the worship of Agma. It's the overarching god of knowledge. So you kind of get a quick tour of these locations in the Court of Air. You are also warned that you are not permitted through the Emerald Door. Dewey is. Dewey has her own residence that's back there, but the rest of you are not permitted at this time. And so you're getting here kind of mid-afternoon. You can basically get yourselves comfortable and eat, and you will have a meeting is scheduled for later this evening. Yeah, so anything else you would like to do here? Yeah, Dewey, are you staying with the group, or are you heading back to anything in your own place?
I'll probably go back to my place if it's going to be like a bit.
Yeah, you
I'll
got
just tell
a
them
couple
that
hours.
I'll tell them I'll come meet them to like pick them up.
Dewey, is there anything to do in the meantime around here?
I can't remember all the stuff. I like forever ago read all the rooms and things. They can't really go anywhere outside of this small area, right?
It's the courtyard's fairly large. I don't have the numbers right off the top of my head, but that's about it. There's these few buildings, is what they were told about. There are the temple, the dining hall, the inn, and there is basically a spa place you can take a bath. Nearby there is basically a grain warehouse and a stables where they keep some animals.
All right.
So yeah,
cool.
I mean, you guys can eat or freshen up, whatever. I can't remember how bloody we left ourselves after the last.
I assume you had time to clean up well after the snake encounters, but you have been traveling for about 8 days. So now, actually, all of you independently put a lot of traveling in your background. You're all travelers, so an 8-day travel is probably nothing for any of you.
All right. So yeah, Dewey, we can catch you later if you got stuff to do.
Yeah, I've got some books and things. I'm just gonna put those away, my place, and organize my stuff a little bit. I'll see you guys in a bit. I'll come get you to take you where we gotta go.
Where should we meet, Dewey?
I'll meet you here, like in the dining hall, and then we can go.
And do you assume any meeting that takes place would be in one of the necessariums?
Okay.
All right.
All right. Kesashi or Earl, do y'all want to go check out the bath or the stables or courtyard?
I heard something about a greenhouse. That intrigues me. I wonder what kind of plants there are.
I
eat plants.
They have not said it was grain, like a grain tower where they keep their food.
That's good too.
About you guys, but I could do with some pampering. That spa sounds pretty awesome.
All right, cool. I'm right behind you.
Yeah, so you can. I'm missing my one source that tells me that specific information. I'm seeing if I can look it up real quick.
I have this mental image of like a giant turtle, a human male, and a sorcerer, all with like green mask and like cucumbers on their eyelids.
Yeah.
I can get my shell waxed.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so here's some more information. So there's the hearth is the vast dining hall with a great circular fire pit in its center. People come there to socialize, relax, eat, and listen to wondrous tales from the proprietor, Winthrop. People eagerly share their research. And yeah, the fire pit smoke rises through holes in the ceiling into the attic, which doubles as a smokehouse for fish and other well-seasoned meats. An arch-topped door connects the hearth to a public bathing house, fed by a natural spring located in the caverns below. And a door on the opposite side of the building leads to the living quarters in the House of Rest. So yeah, it's all kind of connected to the inn and the dining hall and the bathing house. So yeah, you guys can hang out there and have some spa day service and a good hearty meal.
I'm gonna do some of that smoked fish, I think. I'll come back early, eat some of that before we go.
Okay. Yeah, you can definitely come back, and Winthrop is there, and he'll have all kinds of stories that he'll share from what he's heard other people pass through. He's met lots of interesting people. All right, but eventually the time comes, and you are led by one of the runner monks. Calls you to a meeting in one of the necessariums, which is one of the towers on the north wall of the court of there. Right, is there anything else you guys wanted to prepare? I assume you guys mostly, like, any of your equipment and stuff you left in the inn. You're not like carrying all your stuff with you around here. Is that fair to say?
I'd probably keep something. No, I'm good. I have my claws.
Okay.
And I'd keep my amulet, but beyond that.
Okay. Yeah, you don't expect there's a lot of danger here. There's a lot of security around the outside. But as far as you've seen, most of the Avowed who are working here, they're not really armed. They seem to trust in their magical productions more than arming themselves.
I'll take my quarterstaff for good measure.
Okay. And Dewey, you recognize Brother Duergath is a dwarf, is one of the monks that's escorting you guys around.
I will chat him up about some great some good dwarven lore or songs that he enjoys.
Okay, just make a charisma check.
Okay. That is a 17. 17.
Okay. You can go ahead and add just like a dwarven folk song as like something you know. He'll sing it for you just there, and you can pick it up.
Oh my god, I'm so stoked already.
Okay, you guys are led into one of these towers, and you've heard them called a necessarium. When you come in, there's a spacious reading room. So it just looks like a fancy library. It's lined with books around, and there's seating spaces. And you see, just looking up, the tower just seems to go up and up. And there is a spiraling balcony above, so you can see that people can get to those books, but you don't really see any way to get up there. That balcony doesn't have like a staircase that comes down to the ground floor. You get led to the back, and you hear Brother Duergath speak some kind of command word, and a door opens up through the back, and he leads you through a hallway to another meeting room. It seems to have a a large table, kind of just like a conference room table. And this room is adorned with various artwork hanging on the wall. And it just seems to be a fancy meeting room. And you seem to be the first ones here. There are... There are about 12 chairs around this table.
Am I like familiar with this space? Like, have I come here for meetings before?
Not too often. You know that there are multiple rooms similar to this one that used from time to time. Generally, the necessariums are where people can come in and read and study, where they don't actually have access to the full library, but they can come here and, you know, basically every book on the shelves here is a copy. It's not an original. So people can come and kind of browse this at their leisure. And if there's something else that they need, they can ask one of the Avowed to go to the actual library to go get something for them. So that's why not every seeker who comes to Candlekeep actually gets permitted into the Great Library, but they can still come here and learn a wealth of information.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are the books in this area, are they all like parts of like Trippy from previous travelers? Would we know that?
So well, you saw like when you came in, like the price of entrance was to donate a book that didn't already exist in the collection. So very likely a lot of these came in that way. Candlekeep has been here for centuries, so their collection has just grown and grown over time through lots of different ways. Does that kind of answer your question?
Can books be checked out?
They cannot leave the Court of Air, basically. So you could, you would have to ask permission to take a book out of the necessarium, but most of the time it would be allowed to take something back, like to the hearth to keep reading there, or to the House of Rest and keep reading there.
While we wait, I'm going to skim the shelves for books on Lathander.
Okay, you will. Oh, when you're in this meeting room, there aren't really any books in here.
Oh, that's disappointing.
But you can definitely come back to that. There's probably a wealth of knowledge on that subject here.
I probably know a song about Lathander. I can sing you.
Just hold off on that.
And yeah, it's not too much longer. You see several people enter the room and come in and take a seat around the table with you. Dewey, you will recognize one of the great readers is Obel Vildanza. He's an elf. So he's pretty high up on the totem pole for the structure of the Avowed. There is a human master reader. Her name is Cordula Oatblaze. Another master reader, a human, is Malstravar Chemiathelmo. And there is another older man that you don't recognize. And there is another member of the Avowed that you don't recognize.
Okay.
But yeah, they will come in and be seated, and they'll kind of each give their greetings. And you'll see the elf will he basically looks over and says, Malstravar, you can go ahead. And so yeah, you see this human. He's probably in his mid-30s. He's wearing, like most of the Avowed here, wearing the robes. And Yeah, he's like, well, welcome. Dewey has informed us that you are interested in a mission we have, need for an adventuring party. Is that correct?
Yep, we're ready.
And she's.
What do you got?
She told us a little bit about your recent endeavors. So I assume when you went back, you let some people know what was going on. And so he takes a pause and looks at each one of you and is like, well, do you know what's been happening in Icewind Dale? And it seems pretty obvious that none of you do. So, well, let me start from. It was a couple winters ago, 2 winters ago. As you may know, an area that far north, in the wintertime, the days are shorter. The sun only arises for a few hours before it becomes night again. And the opposite is true in the summer, where it's daylight most of the day, and it's only get dark for a while. Well, 2 winters ago, in the night, they began to see lights in the sky, an aurora. It's not too uncommon. People call it the Northern Lights. But this one, it seemed somehow unnatural. And it returned pretty much every night. And the whole winter was a dark, cold winter. But no one thought much of it. The people who live up there, they're hardy folk. They're used to brutal winters. But come springtime, and spring didn't really come. The days remained short, and the weather remained cold, and all through the summer. And no one really knew what was happening. The sun just stopped coming up for more than a couple hours a day. The situation, it's just stayed about the same for the past 2 years. So this is the second summer that they have been denied. The people are attributing this to Oriel. She is the goddess of winter's fury. There's always been some worship of Oriel up in those cold lands, but it's something. And he kind of pauses for a moment, and they've started making sacrifices to her. They've been killing people every month.
Killing people.
Every month they draw a lottery in their biggest towns to select someone to sacrifice to the Frostmaiden. And some of the smaller towns, there's aren't enough people to be sacrificing them, but they'll sacrifice something else they might have. They might sacrifice their food for a day, or some of them they go without heat. They make sure everyone puts out their fires for a night, all in a chance to appease the Frostmaiden and get her to stop this cruel winter. In reality, we don't know what's going on. Our best seers, our best diviners, can't make heads or tails of the region. It's very concerning. So he kind of pauses there, and Obol, the elf, will kind of chime in. He's like, here, we the Avowed, we're charged with collecting and protecting knowledge. And it isn't often that we would go try to change the world. But this is a case where we don't know exactly what this is. So we want to learn this knowledge. But also we know that this is a civilization that will not survive this change of weather. And these people, this way of life, we should at least preserve the knowledge of it, if not preserve it. So we're looking for a group of able individuals to go and see what they can do to help. These people are obviously desperate, and they can use whatever help they can. And if we can find out the actual cause of this everlasting rime and put an end to it, all the better. So they'll basically go on and say they're looking to hire you guys to go to Icewind Dale and basically do what you were doing in Baldur's Gate. Just go and solve crimes, help people, but also try and figure out why the sun doesn't come up. If there's any clues you can learn and any way you can help fix that issue. And if the issue is actually a goddess, or real the Frostmaiden, subjugating this land, it would be great to understand more about that, because it's not common that a major deity directly impacts the world in this way.
Is our priority to figure out what's going on? Is it to help the people adapt to what's going on or survive it? Is it to fix what's going on? If we are forced to, we cannot relate the issue. Is our primary goal to help the people, or is our primary goal to preserve the knowledge of the people?
Yep. Once we get up there, what do you want from us?
So it's kind of one and the same, right? Our goal is we don't want an entire civilization and way of life to be forgotten. So at minimum, we want to learn as much as we can about what's going on and preserve that knowledge. However, if we can preserve the civilization, keep them alive, then that is even better.
I look at Earl and whisper, so they're expendable.
I guess I kind of look at Jack and whisper, an entire civilization, and they want 5 of us to do it?
Crazy. So what's in it for us?
So he'll go through and he'll basically say, Master Var will chime in and say, we know this is a long travel. We're willing to give you as a group 300 gold pieces to make the travel there, and we will continue to give you a stipend, each of you, of 6 gold pieces per 10 day. And any other basically income you can make as you find things to do up there, you can keep 100% of that. We would request, if you come across any forgotten lore or any nuggets of knowledge, that you would return them to us. But any monetary gain is yours to keep. And so just as a group, go ahead and make an intelligence roll.
The largest die?
Yeah, D20, and then add your intelligence modifier.
Okay.
17 for me.
14 for me.
20.
Did I get one from Melissa?
Sorry. Having a bit of trouble. I'm sorry.
No problem. If you're on the on your character sheet, you should be able to just click on the number under the word intelligence at the top, and it should roll a dice for you.
Oh, got it. 17.
17. Okay. So with that, you guys know that the initial 300 gold pieces, that's pretty generous. But then 6 gold pieces per 10 day, that's a little bit low for like an adventuring wage for a contract like this. However, if they are able to, if you're able to negotiate some like other services from Candlekeep, like if they could be doing research for you, stuff like that, that could be worth quite a bit. So taking a lesser income might be okay if there's other benefits to working for the Avowed. So that's kind of just an initial opinion on the offer.
Could individuals, like, let's say I would want to, like, the 6 pieces per 10 days a little low, but if I wanted to negotiate something individual to my character, like learning more about the, I'm going to mispronounce this, the Agathis prison. Earl would be okay with that if there was some solid background research into that prison, specifically how to escape it.
Is that where your cousin or somebody is?
Is Jack. They got a one-way ticket in and no ticket out.
So yeah, if you guys if you want to discuss that now, they will definitely offer you their facilities here while you're here, and while you are gone, they can have people here doing research for you and continuing that.
As there's some like guaranteed, like there will be research done, and then Earl would be fine with that as an individual.
Yeah, they can't promise that they can come up with an answer because it just might not exist in this library, but they will do their best to hunt through their collection and look up stuff, and they can let you know as they find anything.
Dewey doesn't care about money, so I'm all good.
And so yeah, the Cordula will ask Dewey directly, like, would you be willing to go with this group? You seem to have formed a relationship here, and you can be you can be our my mind is losing a word. That happens to me so often. A person that's like the go-between between the Avowed and this group.
Ah, yes. Like the liaison.
Yes, that's the word I was thinking of.
Yeah. Yes, no, I'm very interested. The idea of a culture disappearing is very worrisome to me. I'm very interested in getting up there and recording some great music and songs of the people of Icewind Dale, so it's not forgotten.
Okay. And
whatever else you're wanting us to do.
And with that, Cordula is going to grant you the rank of scribe.
All right, before we go, I want to negotiate more pay. 6 pieces per 10 days isn't enough. You have a good, solid reputation that Dewey told you about.
Okay.
Can we get more than 6 pieces per day, or the items we find, instead of giving them to you, sell back to you?
Is Jack alone in this request, or are the rest of you chiming in as well?
Come on, people. I think we can get more out of them.
I'm actually fine.
Elbow.
Okay.
Money's great, Jack, but I want to know more about that prison. If they can give me that, I'm fine.
It's gonna be dangerous.
Do you?
Okay. If Kashesi is also coming in, Jack, you can make a persuasion roll with advantage. So basically,
Okay,
you can roll it twice and take the better one.
20-sided.
Yeah, the d20.
All right, my first was a 9. Second was a 19.
Ooh.
I add on to it.
Your persuasion bonus.
Persuasion plus 2. 21.
Okay. Yeah, okay. They will agree to increase it to 8 gold pieces per 10 day. Which you still think is a little bit low, but given that they're going to be doing some other stuff for you, you're willing to settle for that.
That's cool. Can I also get some books on Lathander?
Yeah, you can have the same deal. So like until you guys leave, you're free to do research here, like any other seekers who come to Candlekeep.
All right, cool. I'm good, guys.
So at this point, one of the other people in the room speaks up. You see a half-elf woman who is also a member of the Avowed, and she introduces herself as Danica Greysteel. And she says, find one thing I've been researching these wee little elemental spirits. They're called Chewingas, and I think they might be the key to improving the climate in Icewind Dale. They've been known to inhabit 10 towns, and they have the ability to alter their natural surroundings. If I could study one up close, I might be able to learn something more about what's going on here, and maybe try and find a solution. So while you're there, if you could find a Chewinga, I could give you another 25 gold pieces. If you could have one alive that I could study.
What does a Chewinga look like? Do you know, or are we to try to find out?
They are. She'll go ahead and describe. They are. So just out of game. If you've ever seen the movie Princess Mononoke, there's these little forest spirits that have these masks that go click, click, click. It's pretty much that same concept. These little tiny elemental spirits. So they're small. They tend to live in, like, if you had a potted plant, it might live there. They are roughly humanoid in shape. They don't really have a face. It's more kind of like a smooth, like, mask-looking thing. And they tend to be playful. They don't seem to be able to speak.
Ugh. That sounds creepy.
They do tend to live in more remote areas. They're not completely away from civilization, but they're on, like, the edge of civilization. So Icewind Dale definitely matches that.
Okay.
And so if you guys accept that, she will give you an item called a Lantern of Tracking. So this is a hooded lantern that can burn for 6 hours on 1 pint of oil. And if the lantern is within 3 feet of any elemental creature, its flame will turn bright green. It won't directly lead you to one, but it will tell you if you're close. So if someone wants to, she doesn't have the lantern right here in this meeting, but if someone wants to add that to their inventory, they'll give it to you afterward. It's an item on D&D Beyond, Lantern of Tracking Elementals. Who wants to take it? because you don't all need one.
If I weren't over my weight capacity, I would take it.
You're carrying that much stuff already?
Yeah, I think I need to clear out a couple things. But I guess that's more housekeeping afterwards.
Oh yeah, you got heavy armor on.
I'm probably gonna switch out that armor.
Okay. So who else? Someone want to kick it?
Well, I can carry it if no one wants it.
All right, Jack. You can get a lantern of tracking elementals.
Can't add it to my stuff currently.
Yeah, Miss Van added for you.
Cool.
All right, Jack has it in his inventory. All right. So on top of everything else that's going on, you are on the lookout for chewingas.
Can I ask her, do they make any sounds or anything any other information she can tell us about them? How big they are?
Yeah, they're small. They're not all the same size, but it's like it could fit in your hand.
You set traps for them, or do you just have to come across them?
So she hasn't actually seen one before, so she doesn't know specifically. She's heard about them. She thinks they might be difficult to find, hence the lantern. It's more people tell stories about them, and so she's trying to figure out like what's true from what's not based on stories she's heard.
Oh.
Could we keep one as a pet, maybe?
You may be able to. They do seem to be somewhat shy. So maybe.
Do we need like a cage to bring one back in? I'm picturing like Tinkerbell, like that we just like get it in a jar, like, and capture it.
So somewhere in the conversation, you'll see the human wizard, who he clearly isn't a member of the Avowed. He doesn't have the same robes as everyone. He just seems like a wizard guy, and he will. He gets introduced to you as Piscabras Cobrascus. That's his name. And he will say that while Candlekeep doesn't specialize in really like hiring adventuring parties, they do get all manner of people who do come in, and when sometimes if people create mischief here in Candlekeep, they get kicked out, and Candlekeep keeps some of their stuff. So they do have some interesting magic items they're willing to give you, because they don't really have any need for them here, but they could come in use for an adventuring party.
Cool.
And so he will list them. The first one he's going to give to Dewey. It's the most important one. It is called a double-mouthed backpack. So it looks like a normal backpack, but he pulls out. There's two of them, and he demonstrates by putting something in one of the backpacks, and then he puts his hand in the other backpack and he pulls the item out.
Ooh.
So it's basically these two backpacks are linked. So anything you put in one, you can take it out of the other. So he's suggesting that you take one of them, and now you can communicate back to the people at Candlekeep by writing something down and sharing it through the backpack.
Oh, that's awesome!
And if they have any like new if they have any like new research or anything that they find, they can put a book in your backpack.
Cool.
And you can also use this to potentially transport a chewinga back here for Danica.
Perfect.
So that's an item on D&D Beyond you can add.
Yeah, already done.
All right.
Does it work like if I stick my hand? Is my hand coming out of his?
It does not. So an item has to be completely in the backpack, within the backpack, in order for it to work.
Okay. I totally tried though.
Yeah. I assume you like put your hand in and then like look in the other backpack and.
And I'm like looking over, like.
Okay, there's an item called a coin of delving. It's a small copper coin, and you can see it is actually emitting light. So it acts like a little tiny light bulb. And if you drop it and it falls more than 5 feet, it will make a loud sound. So most people use it for if there's like a pit or some hole that you don't know how deep it is. You can drop the coin down there, and it'll basically tell you how deep the hole is because you'll hear the sound come back up. That can also be like a tiny little flashlight. So that is a coin of delving someone can add. You can all put these all in the backpack if you want.
Oh, okay.
Or you can hand them out, whichever.
Who wants a coin of delving?
Yeah, I will take it.
All right, then he pulls out a small packet of what looks like sand. And he says, there's enough of it for one use. You can throw the dust into the air, and you and everyone within 10 feet of you will become invisible for a short time.
Ooh.
So this is the dust of disappearance.
I'll take that.
Are you regretting your coin choice now?
Oh, this one's fun. This one, he pulls out what basically looks like an egg. It's slightly bigger than like a chicken egg you'd find at a grocery store. And as an action, you can break the egg, and what comes out will be a corpse that looks identical to what you would look like if you suddenly died. So you can basically create a dead copy of yourself.
Like a decoy, a dead decoy?
Yeah. It's called,
Oh, God.
it's called the Egg of Death.
That's hilarious.
I came from an egg that hits too close to home.
It does not appear to be a turtle egg.
Oh, that'd be better. I don't want the egg. Someone take the egg.
I'll pass.
We don't know what you'll do with it, but adventurers are creative.
Are you taking it, Earl, or can I get it?
Who's taking it?
Earl, are you taking it? Everybody else passed.
If nobody takes the egg, why not use a death omelet?
Yeah, be careful when you're making breakfast.
Don't pick that one.
That could keep us eating for a while.
Gross.
Oh yeah, some turtle soup for a month or two.
How dare you? How dare you?
So he
I'm going
pulls
to
out.
untune your instrument.
That's a threat.
That's like really intense.
He pulls out what looks to be a glass flask that has another type of powder in it, and it's the flask has a tight seal on it. And basically it says if you expose this powder to air, it will basically create a bright flash, and anyone within 10 feet will be blinded for a short time. So basically you could take the flask and like throw it on the ground and shatter it, or you could uncork it basically, and but then you would be in the radius if you did that. So this is flash powder.
Depending on
Do you want that one, Jack?
Is it like a one-time use depending on
Yeah.
how it's used?
Because once it's exposed to air, it will go off.
Sure, I'll take it.
I'm kind of
Or you can have it.
sure, I'll take it.
All right.
If you happen to know that it's coming, like if you know that one of your friends is about to set it off, you could avert your eyes and gain advantage on the roll to not get affected by it.
How long does the dazed effect last?
Someone who's affected will be blinded until the end of their next turn. So that could be a whole round of combat.
Cool.
You're going to have, he has 2 potions of cold resistance. It's obviously going to be cold up there, especially since it's eternal winter. So this is a potion you can take and you get resistance to cold damage. So there's 2 of those.
I think I'll want. As the turtle, I think you probably needed more than most of us.
I was gonna
I
say.
think so too. The cat should be good.
I'm also not used to cold, though. Even though I have fur, I'm not like a thick-furred kind of a cat. Yeah. You can take one, and then somebody else can take one.
I'll take one. You better be careful. I might have to shave you like Sandy the squirrel.
All right, and he has a potion of comprehension. So you can drink this potion, and for an hour, basically you will just understand languages. Whether you knew the language or not, it'll help you comprehend.
Earl gets pretty excited about this. If nobody wants it, definitely that'd be fabulous.
You are good to take it, Earl.
I think I already have like an adept linguist thing, so you can go ahead and have it. I mean, it's not as
Potion of comprehension. And then he's got 5 regular healing potions. They're pretty common. Drink it to regain some hit points. He's got 5 of those.
So everyone wants one and somebody gets 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the second one because I have healing spells, so someone else can.
And I wouldn't want the second one either because I can heal people as well.
I'll take one.
Okay.
You can have both. I have a shell.
Okay.
And his last item, he pulls out what basically looks like a snow globe. And you can see the particles are floating about it like snow. And this is a snow globe of shelter. Basically, you can use it and it will grow really big. and it's the same as the tiny hut spell. So for when you use it, it grows really big, and for about 8 hours, actually it's 10 hours. For 10 hours, you can be inside the globe, and you're basically protected from the elements and from enemies, because no one can go in it other than the people who were there when it happened.
Cool.
It doesn't last forever. It will only work 5 times.
Oh.
But at least for 5 times, if you're just out in the snow in the wilderness, you've got a way to have a warm camp for the night.
Does it fit one person, or does it fit a traveling group?
It'll fit all of you. It will fit.
It's like Harry Potter, where it like looks like a small tent, but like it's actually a big tent.
It will fit up to 9 creatures of medium size.
Yeah.
But they have to be there when you set it off, otherwise they won't be able to get in. Once you are in it, you can leave and come back as many times as you want, but you have to be there initially.
I can carry that if no one wants it.
Okay, so yeah, that was just a kind of a hodgepodge of items, but it's kind of what they had around. And if they come across anything that they think you will need, they can add it to the backpack later. Or if there's anything that you need a request while you're there, they can try to get it for you, as long as it will fit in the backpack. It's the size of a regular backpack, so objects larger than that just won't work. They won't teleport. So you're kind of limited by size on that, but it's still pretty good.
Do we send messages through here on parchment? Or
They can. And so
Yeah,
one of the things
I have paper and ink and stuff, so I can like write back.
one of the things they're going to ask Dewey as a scribe to basically keep a log of what you guys do. And so at least once every 10 days, they want some correspondence back.
Okay.
And so that's so they can kind of just keep up to date with what you guys are what's going on. And it's also their way of, if everything goes south and like basically all of Icewind Dale turns into a block of ice and everyone's dead, they at least have this knowledge that you passed along that they can keep.
Right.
And that's mostly what they're concerned about, is the knowledge.
Are they paying us through the bag? I'm assuming.
Yes.
Are they going to give us our weekly payment? Okay.
Yeah.
So I have that duty. Okay.
it's 300 when we get back, or they already paid us?
They'll pay you $300 like as soon as you like go to leave, as like an initial, because they assume you'll need to get some gear, and because you're not equipped for the cold right now, and just to pay you for the long travel, because that's a pretty good ways. And along that line, they will say, unfortunately, they don't have any partners or anyone they can contact quickly that maintains any kind of teleportation circle that far north. However, in the next several days, they know of a merchant caravan that is going to be leaving and heading to Icewind Dale. So what they can do is they can teleport your group to the city of Neverwinter, where you can then take a ship to the city of Fireshear, and from there you can hook up with this merchant caravan and take the north-south pass into Icewind Dale.
Cool.
So that's their recommended travel plan. That'll be significantly faster than trying to walk all the way from here to there. You can teleport at least to Neverwinter. You don't necessarily have to go with that group if you don't want to, but there's always safety in numbers when traveling these less popular roads. And you know that getting to Icewind Dale, It's on the other side of the Spine of the World Mountains. That's a pretty treacherous path to take on a normal day. But when you've got this crazy weather happening, it's probably going to be dangerous. So having a larger group with you is mutually beneficial.
Because of these mountains, is it sort of safe to assume that because there have been 2 years of hard winter and these mountains, that the inhabitants, if they wanted to escape, they just simply can't? Are they kind of like landlocked, essentially?
We don't know for sure, because like I said, the one thing that is strange is like a lot of like divination magic, like being able to just from here to see what's going on there. It's not working very well. So we've not been able to go look for ourselves and see what's going on. The stories we have are from people who have left Icewind Dale, and the stories have arrived here. So people are leaving, but it was a dangerous journey on a normal day. But now with all of this going on, there's probably fewer and fewer people trying to travel in and out of Icewind Dale. So there's nothing particularly. We don't think they're like forcibly kept there against their will, but it is people aren't choosing to travel because it's so dangerous.
So where would we be best to like stock up on like warm clothes and all that junk? Snowshoes, I don't know what you need.
So here at Candlekeep, they don't have a ton of supplies like that. They might have a little bit, but you'd probably be better off when you go to Neverwinter to
That's what I was thinking.
To go shopping there.
Okay, cool.
So the boat leaving Neverwinter leaves on the 13th of the month. It is currently the 7th of the month. So if you wanted to, you've got 6 days, if I did that math right. You could stay at Candlekeep until the day before, and you could do research here. You could any of the services here. If you want to try and research more about Icewind Dale, you could do that, and basically go a day early and go shopping. Or if you want to go to Neverwinter now and get started, or whatever you want to do.
I'm assuming it's like the real difference is like our living quarters are already paid for here, essentially.
Yes.
If we went to Neverwinter, we would have to like find an inn and do longer days paying for that. I'm fine staying here and then going, with a day to do a shopping day, if everyone else is.
I'm good.
That sounds good to me. Leaves me to do half research for Icewind Dale and half research for my prison.
I'm good with that.
Okay. And I'm just checking my notes if I'm missing anything, but I think we are adjourning this meeting unless you have any other questions. Let me just double check. I feel like there's probably like
other people that like.
There's probably like an
Sorry, I was
important
thinking
thing that I didn't
we
say.
could get people to like. Never mind, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, so quick recap. For the past 2 years, there's been this strange aurora in the night sky, and basically summer didn't come. The sun does not rise above the horizon for more than a couple hours a day. It's been super cold. There are 10 settlements in Icewind Dale. They're known as 10 towns. The 3 largest towns, once a month, they've been sacrificing people to Oriel the Frostmaiden, trying to basically hope that it gets her to take mercy on them. And the other settlements have been sacrificing food or heat. These sacrifices take place on the night of the new moon. So that's one thing that they can warn you about. If you're in one of these settlements on the night of the new moon, you could be entered in the lottery to be sacrificed.
Ooh.
That was good question. I guess another question, and maybe this is more of this is why we're going there in the first place. Do we have any information in terms of the sacrifices in the lottery? Let's say number 1 gets picked up and you're a sacrifice. The people who are picked for sacrifice, are they willing sacrifices? Are they thinking that they're helping the community, or are they kicking and screaming, or does it depend on the town?
We haven't heard a lot of those specifics. I can imagine it's a bit of both. These sacrifices seem to be done for the people at the will of the people. They believe Oriel is to blame for this winter, and they're doing what they can. I think they are trying to serve the community and willing to give up something important to do that. But I'm sure there are plenty of people who would not wish to be sacrificed.
Okay.
It's a great idea until you get picked.
Yeah, and that's probably why the smaller settlements aren't doing that. We did hear a story about in one of the towns that is sacrificing heat. If they find someone who lights a fire that night, they basically get ejected from the town, and they're no longer welcome back. They're taking the sacrifices very seriously. All right, that's it for now. We can close that meeting out, and you guys all go back to your rooms with a lot to think about. Okay, so you guys have so that was the 7th of Eliasis. So you have the 8th through the 11th. You got 4 days to do whatever you want around Candlekeep. They're still not letting you through the Emerald Door into the Great Library, but there's plenty of stuff you can look around in the necessariums, and you can ask the Avowed to go look up other stuff for you and bring it to you. There are also the temples to Agma and all the deities of knowledge, if you wanted to check those out at all.
I would probably spend the time we have like doing research on the area and like Icewind Dale and whatever types of stuff that they have for that.
Okay, is there anything specific, or is looking for like an overview?
Yeah, I guess I'll just kind of like take anything that I see if it looks interesting and has to do with Icewind Dale. Maybe like more focused on like the people and their traditions and ways or whatever.
Okay.
That type of thing.
Is anyone else doing anything similar?
Spending most of my time bugging the Avowed about Chewingas.
Okay. Alright, so I'll have Do we make a history check? Well, no, let's make an investigation check. You're searching for things. You're searching for
13.
things. 13. Okay, I will let you see a map that you found.
Ooh.
You found an older map of Icewind Dale, of 10 towns specifically. There it goes.
Ooh.
So that should come up for all of you. Yeah, you're all there. So there's this map isn't oriented to the north. So north is like to the top right. But there's the caravan trail that most people take coming from the mountains. The main like central hub is the town of Bryn Shander. It's the largest city. It's surrounded by a wall. Near there, you have Targos. It's a fishing village on Mare Dwaldon. There's a smaller town of Bremen next to that. You've got the town of Tourmaline on the other side of Mare Dwaldon. You'll find information about they have a gemstone mine. There's the town of Lonelywood back here along the forest. There aren't a ton of trees in Icewind Dale, so Lonelywood is one of the places that has a good lumber industry. As they're along this forest. Down the other way, you've got the town of Goodmead. They are known for the mead that they produce.
Is it good?
It's pretty good, as far as you've read. You've got the town of Dugan's Hole. Not a whole lot written about that.
I'd like to check that out.
There is note of there seems to be some kind of monument there. There's not really much written about it. Over here on Goodmead and Dugan's Hole are on the lake called Redwaters. Over here, there's the town of East Haven. It's on Lac Dineshire. Then up here you have the town of Caer Dineval. That has a castle, is the kind of the main focal point of that town. And then over here, below the mountain of Kelvin's Cairn, you have the town of Caer Konig. And that town wants to have a castle, but they don't. There big rivalry between Caer Dineval and Caer Konig. Kelvin's Cairn is the one mountain in the Dale, and south of the mountain there's the Dwarven Valley, where there's Battlehammer dwarves have been mining and living underground.
And the three biggest are Bryn Shander, Caer Konig, and Caer Dineval.
The biggest ones, according to this, are Bryn Shander, Targos, and East Haven.
Oh.
Population or like square miles?
Yeah, as far as population. I think the information you have says Bryn Shander has around 1,500 citizens. Some of the smaller towns maybe only have a few hundred. Since Bryn Shander is kind of centrally located and it has a defensive wall, there is a policy where if any disaster comes, citizens of other towns can retreat to Bryn Shander. It is also on one of these foothills at the top, one of the foothills of Kelvin's Cairn, so they have a good strategic high ground there. Historically, this land has been known to get raided by orcs, so they've taken some defensive precautions.
Cool.
If Dewey's researching this, I think, can I do some research or do an investigation check, or sorry, history check of maybe like the types of local government with the 10 towns? Like, are these citizens, are they popular with humans? Is it like dwarves, elves?
Sure, you can make another investigation check.
Uh, 17.
17. They are like many of the towns along the Sword Coast. It's a lot of humans and mostly human settlements. However, there was also a lot of dwarves up here. There is a little bit of everyone. One of the things you kind of find is, since this is a remote place, there tends to be a common pattern where if someone wants to just get away and start over, make a new life for themselves, 10 Towns is a good place to do it, because not too many people from further south are going to try and follow you there. So you do kind of have a culture of people who are coming together, trying to run away from something else.
So almost like a bunch of loners ironically coalescing into like a community?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Are towns, are they like 10 individual, like is each town like its own like little government, or are the 10 towns kind of like united almost?
So each town is individually governed. However, there is a loose association between them, where each town elects a speaker to represent the town, and there are occasional meetings in Bryn Shander where they discuss policies that affect all 10 towns. Most of that covers things like their defenses, like I said, with the orc invasions. But a lot of it involves fishing disputes. You see that between the three lakes, a lot of what they do is revolved around fishing. And there seems to be a unique type of fish called knucklehead trout that seems to be popular here.
And I'm assuming some of the policies they might be talking about, in addition to fishing disputes, would that include the decision for human sacrifice?
Nothing in what you can find at Candlekeep really talks about that, because that's a pretty new development. But you can assume that's a topic that is being discussed among the people.
They use the fish heads for money, though, right? The knucklehead.
Yeah, looking at that, so the bones of the fish, they're used for a lot of things. So they make them into little tools or art pieces with scrimshaw.
Mm-hmm.
They find lots of uses for fish bones and fish meat. And
If there are a lot of...
Go ahead.
Sorry, I keep interrupting. If this is a community of people that are kind of like fleeing for one reason or another, are they forming eventually like family groups, or is it really like single individuals go up there and then they just kind of coalesce?
It seems like a little bit of both. From what you are reading, there aren't too many people who are just complete loners, because they kind of need to rely on the community to survive. And someone who's not like pulling their weight to help out isn't really accepted. So it's kind of more of a culture where people don't care about your background as long as you're helping out now. And Kishisi was looking up information about Chewingas. Go ahead and make an investigation roll.
We got you.
What was that?
2.
2?
Yep.
Okay. You did find a little bit. It's mostly repeating what you already know. These are probably the same sources that Danica used. But yeah, you found out that they are tiny elemental spirits. They tend to live in plants, rocks, or rivers, kind of far away from big civilizations. They seem to be shy. From what you're reading, you'll see that no two Chewingas look exactly alike. But they do tend to be around 6 inches tall, and they kind of resemble dolls wearing a mask.
Cool.
Some reports say they can be playful. And you found a picture. I will share that in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Completely worth having it.
so yeah, basically it's an illustration based on one eyewitness report of what they look like.
Okay.
All right. Was there anything else specific you were looking into? So I'll say at this point, that research probably took a couple of days. Digging through a bunch of anything you can find about Icewind Dale and Chewingas.
Cool.
You say there were some temples nearby?
Yeah, there is the House of the Binder is the house of worship to Agma, the god of knowledge.
I changed my mind. I look up information on let's see, what's her name? Oriel, the Frostmaiden goddess.
Oh, real? Yeah, sure. Go ahead and make an investigation roll.
19.
19. I was not expecting that. That's a good thing to look into. There's just one piece of information that I don't have off the top of my head that I'm going to look up real quick. And hopefully I can find it real quick. But I can read off some information real quick. So, Oriel is known as the Frostmaiden, also known as the goddess of winter's wrath. She's
Wrath.
Winter's wrath. So, basically not just the goddess of winter and cold, but specifically the elements of that is like cruel and evil. Most of the people who worship her do so out of fear.
Is there like a corresponding god or goddess?
Oh, like a counterpart?
Yeah, like a counterpoint.
Let me see. Let me see what I can find. Okay, here's what I was in for. So, centuries ago, Oriel was a member of a group called the Deities of Fury, along with the other gods called Malar, Umberly, and Talos. Just real quick, Malar is the god of like werewolves and like beasts. Umberly is the evil god of the ocean, and Talos is the evil god of storms. That's a super quick run through. So they were on a group together. Umberly and Oral seem to have a bit of a friendship, while the opposite with Malar, they kind of didn't like each other. Recently, it seems that Oriel was removed from that group. There isn't really any other information why. It's hard to know what these godlike entities are up to.
Is there knowledge as to whether the removal was done by the gods or by the people that were worshiping the gods?
Yeah, I guess that's another thing. Are they physical or are they spirit? And people overthrow them?
So as a cleric, I can say you don't even have to roll. You know that these deities, they are actual entities, but they aren't. It's like a different species, but it's kind of more than that. These are very powerful magical entities that don't necessarily obey the same like rules of reality that regular people do.
Got it.
And deities in general tend to gain their power by how many followers they have. So while they are this kind of otherworldly thing, they still kind of depend on the mortals to gain power from. And in return, a lot of deities will grant power to those mortals in return.
And I guess team, this one gets power from fear. That's something good to remember.
Mm-hmm. And also more people worshiping her. So maybe we could do some research in terms of, God, how I put it, the relationship between gods and increased worship, like how that power flow kind of goes.
So reading further, the way it seems is that Oriel left this group of her own accord and basically turned against the other three and kind of made enemies of them.
Oh.
She's like too evil for everybody.
She's too cool for school.
Yeah.
But those other deities may be helpful.
And yeah, as a cleric and a paladin, you guys just both, you've heard of those three before, and you know they're bad guys. They are evil deities.
Yeah, but an enemy of the enemy.
Yeah.
Might be our friend.
So yeah, not a whole lot of information about really what she's up to, but yeah, you got kind of the gist of she's the cruel winter goddess and seems to take up that mantle.
Oh, that was a good book. It's time to go to the pub.
Yep, you can totally rest and relax at the hearth and at the bathhouse and take in the amenities here in Candlekeep before you know you're going to go on an arduous trek through the snow. All right, so if you've got about another day here, is there anything else you were looking into?
I think I'm good. It's not like we can't ask them for more information later with stuff we need to, so that makes it easier.
Yeah, and they'll say kind of the more specific you are in your request for something, kind of the easier they can try to like look something up.
Okay.
Are there? I guess I want to look around the town. Is it worth getting any beast of burden or pets? Any like market of the sorts?
Or would we wait till Netherwinter to start loading that up?
That's true.
Yeah, you'd find more in Neverwinter probably.
You think it might be difficult to travel with an animal like that through the mountains? The caravan that you are with might have some like workhorses, but they're probably not set up to transport other large animals.
And sorry, I guess more of a housekeeping question. The 300 gold, is that 300 for each person or 300 split among?
It's for the group altogether.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
I'm assuming that it's like that's the money that we use to pay for all the traveling stuff. So if maybe like somebody wants to be in charge of it and just like, pay for whatever and like whatever shopping we do, I guess.
Yeah.
We can figure it out. Somebody has the credit card and then
I can keep it in the shell.
Yeah, there you go.
Does your shell have pockets?
It's got all kind of stuff inside. Y'all should check it out.
So I will say the other piece of information you learned about Icewind Dale is maybe 100 to 150 years ago. It seems that the land was attacked by a powerful demon and a wizard teamed up, and there was a local hero who was a dark elf came and helped save the towns.
Do we know
his
the
name? Perhaps be
the famous.
Does it start with a D?
Dritz Do'Urden. So that's not much of a secret. He's pretty much a celebrity around the whole Sword Coast.
Dritz Do'Urden.
Dritz Do'Urden. So you've all heard that name before. So he's the one who was the big hero of Icewind Dale. And if any of you like out of game want to go above and beyond, there's a long series of books, but the very first one that was written is called The Crystal Shard, and it's that story of Dritz in 10 towns and that whole ordeal. So if you want to go read a book, or I've listened to the audiobook. If you wanna do that, it's not going to really affect anything that happens in our game. But if you're just interested in extra homework, you can go consume that book.
So Dritz Dale, he's still alive?
It seems so. Elves do live for a long time, but those events were at least 150 years ago or so.
He's the most famous guy in all of D&D lore.
Yeah, probably. So there's 36 or so novels written about him.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We should be able to get an audience with that guy. No problem.
I mean,
yeah. You just play him a song, we'll get right in.
Oh,
No
yeah.
biggie.
I mean, I'm sure I have some sort of dark elf song that I've pulled from somewhere.
You just got to perfect the
You just
jam.
like Hulk. Yeah.
He hasn't heard a quartet like us with this shell bass. We're gonna blow his elven ears right off. We're gonna round his points.
Love it.
All
Cool.
right.
Well, I'm ready for shopping.
All right. With that, if you're all done with everything here in Candlekeep, they will say their goodbyes. It definitely seems like Malstravar is the one who is kind of like championing this mission. He'll probably be your contact point when you're writing back to Candlekeep.
Okay.
And yeah, you can gather up your things, and Piscabras will be there, and he will cast a spell, and in just mere moments, you find yourselves in the city of Neverwinter. I don't have a cool picture of Neverwinter to show up on the screen. I probably should have gotten one. I forgot about it. So Neverwinter, not quite as populated as Baldur's Gate was. They've had their fair share of disaster here in the past, and they're still kind of rebuilding. But you are in a city marketplace with hustle and bustle of city life. There's plenty of shops. I figured we didn't need to go through a full shopping episode and like role play out every interaction with every shopkeeper. So you're in a big city. Any of the equipment, the general equipment from the player's handbook is available if you want to buy anything. I assume you guys want to pick up some cold weather clothing at the very least. And basically, if there's something you would like, just let me know, and you can probably find it in the city. There's Aurora's Whole Realm Shops has some locations here. Plenty of other vendors. You got 300 gold pieces to burn if you want.
Yeah, I want some warm weather clothing.
There is let me see what the name of the item is on D&D Beyond.
Just clothing, cold weather. Is that what?
That's probably it.
Okay.
It's probably your equipment.
It says it's 10 gold pieces.
Yeah. Cold weather clothing. It's going to cost 10 gold pieces.
So if all four.
Say, for Jack, they probably don't have something turtle sized off the rack, so they're gonna make a custom order. But they can get it for you by the end of the day.
That's a relief.
But since it is a custom order, if you have any input into the fashion design on cold weather clothing.
Yeah, I do. I want there to be lots of buckles. I want there to be a hat with ear flaps.
Okay.
And I'd like it green, preferably. More like a khaki color, khaki green.
All right, they can accommodate that.
Thank you. What do you have in the way of socks?
And looking down at the turtle hooves, they think they can craft something from just woolen cloth. Yeah, that's the word, cloth.
I feel like you could take kind of like a skull cap type thing and just put it on your turtle feet.
On my foot.
I feel like it's the same shape.
That works.
Oh yeah, just do the flap hat on your feet and then use the flap and the ties to tie it on the top, like a shoe.
It's such a silly
Innovation.
question.
That could work.
Turtles have ears? Does a turtle have like actual physical ears?
I have holes. Those need to be covered. Wind just whistles right past.
The cold weather clothing, that's not armor, correct? That's just like a jacket, coat, pants.
Yes, it doesn't affect your armor class, but it will protect you from basically freezing to death.
Okay. Is there like cold resistant armor we could look into?
Potentially. I will say this is a part where a bunch of people have debated the rules in this section of the book for cold weather clothing because they didn't specifically say. But I'm going to assume you can wear cold weather clothing and armor at the same time. So you don't necessarily have to take off your cold weather clothes to put on your protective armor and vice versa. You can do both at the same time. Because otherwise that's... If basically, I'll say it this in game mechanics terms. If you are not wearing cold weather clothing and you go into the cold environment, every hour you have to make a saving throw, or you get a point of exhaustion. And if you get 6 points of exhaustion, you're dead. That's it. So exhaustion is no joke. So that's every hour that would stack. And also that even if you're wearing cold weather clothing, if you get wet, the cold weather clothing won't help you if you're wet.
So it'd probably be a good idea if we each have a spare set.
If you wanted to, you could afford it.
Or maybe at least, one of us should have a spare set. Unfortunately, well, it may not work for Jack here.
I can throw you some information. You asked about having like animals. There could be an opportunity to purchase something like that once you get to 10 towns. There might be like work animals there. You could purchase or rent. That might be easier than trying to transport them from here. So that might be a reason if you want something like that, you might not want to spend all your money in Neverwinter. There could also be other tools for cold weather. There could be things like ice skates or snowshoes or ice picks.
Okay, well, I'm literally air. Will I be affected?
I think you will. I think you are still susceptible to cold.
Yeah.
I will double check. Because even with your Genasi background, you are still considered a humanoid creature.
Okay.
As far as that classification. So you have the basically traits of that, but you are still like a humanoid person. Yeah, as far as I can see, you are still susceptible to cold.
Okay.
I do see there's like some armor of cold resistance like in here. Is that something that we would find in Neverwinter, or it doesn't say how much they are though, so I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be based on the rarity.
It's a blue color item if that helps.
Yeah, probably expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the items that just say the word cold in it they're mostly blues.
Mm-hmm.
I can look up a price for that.
I would say if we're smart, if it's something that is expensive, that we splurge on a ring of cold resistance that we could pass around between us. You know? So like if someone happens and they're really cold, we can like multiple people can wear it instead of like armor that some people can wear and some can't, you know?
Or perhaps stock up on potions of cold resistance.
Yeah, that too. That's like a one-time thing, though. It'd be nice to have a ring that you could kind of like, it's there and it's always.
So magic items aren't as widely available. We might be able to find something. Oh, I see why I couldn't. In D&D Beyond, it's just listed as an armor of resistance, and then there's a bunch of varieties. That's why I couldn't find it. Okay, so an armor of cold resistance gets pretty expensive, but it depends on which type of armor. Because it could be like chainmail, chain, shirt, half plate, hide, leather, padded armor, plate armor.
How much is a ring of cold resistance?
I might come back to that one. But if you're interested in the armor, just let me know what type of armor.
I was thinking a ring might be easier because then all of us could use it and it might be cheaper than like what an armor is. But I don't know if someone else wants an armor.
So just as an example, so you can find the armor of cold resistance for sale in Neverwinter. But for example, like leather armor of cold resistance is going to be your whole 300 gold pieces for that one piece.
Yeah. Well, then the other stuff's going to be a lot more in chain and like breastplates and stuff.
Yeah. Make an investigation roll to see if you can find someone selling a ring of cold resistance.
Ooh, dirty 20.
Okay, yeah, you do find a shop that is selling some more just miscellaneous magic items. Their ring of cold resistance is on sale for 2,500 gold pieces.
Oh, okay. How many thousand can I knock off with a charisma check?
You go ahead and make a persuasion roll.
19?
Not very many.
Oh.
No, that is
wow.
a rare magic item.
Okay. That's fine.
And you did find one in the city, so that's impressive in and of itself. But
all right, well.
but they do
I know
have some,
I wanted to get another dagger.
They do have potions here.
Yeah.
Let's see how much they cost. Let me just find anything that would give you resistance.
Dewey, I can suggest something if you're open to it.
What?
I can blow a huge gust of wind and make the place a mess. Water cleaning up, you just steal the ring.
Yeah, it'll show you, they have a few potions of resistance of a few different types. They do have more potions of cold resistance. Each of these potions is 190 gold pieces.
Ew.
So now you're starting to think that the random magic junk that Candlekeep gave you was pretty good. Magic's pretty expensive.
What about just like it's a little random, like a potion of watchful rest? Because I'm sure we're going to be traveling a lot, and One of us has to keep watch while the others sleep.
Do you have that one up? Do you know what the rarity is on that?
It says potion common.
Common potion. Okay. Each one of those is 50 gold pieces.
I have a question. Is there anything for seasickness? How long is our boat trip?
Your boat trip will be, I have that written down. 3 full days.
Yeah. Where's the take me to the drugstore?
Yeah, you can
Alright.
find some.
Potion.
You can find some remedies for 1 silver.
Okay. I'm getting that. Is it enough to like last me the whole time?
Yeah, that'll be enough.
Okay.
On the boat, will food be provided, or should we also be packing rations for at least for the boat journey?
At least while you are on this journey, I'll say you don't need to worry about rations. It will be basically included in your facilities that you arrange for travel. So basically the rations are already paid for in that case. If you wanted more rations just for yourself for once you get there, that is probably a wise idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like once we get off the boat, not like right now.
Correct. Your accommodations are taken care of until you get there.
What's a good idea? Like 5 rations each? I don't know what like. So how long is the journey from the boat to the 10 towns, essentially? Because that's what we would need rations for, correct?
No, it'll be included.
Oh, okay. So all the way up until 10 towns. Okay.
Yeah. It will likely, you don't know exactly, but it will, it's a ways to go. And you're going on foot with a large group, it's not going to move super fast through the mountains.
But should we maybe have like 4 to 5 days each on us for like whatever we would be doing after that? Because who knows like
Already
what
got
they've got
10
up
days.
Oh, you do?
Yep, in the shell.
Most characters with starting equipment get rations with that. So you might have some already.
I didn't have any. I just have a little piece of like herring jerky, you know.
Okay, so that might be something to look into.
Yeah. I'm adding some. I would like 5 for me.
Okay, I think that's 25 silver pieces.
Are we tallying this up off of our... We have 40 gold for the outfits.
A silver or 2 for your seasickness.
Yeah, it was 1 silver for that.
25 silver for some rations.
Does anyone else need rations? Okay, so just me. So 26 silver right now we're at. And 40 gold.
Okay.
Do we know, would the winter gear, or the winter clothes, I should say, include shoes?
It does. It includes boots and gloves.
It does, okay. That's good. Does anybody need, like, depending on your weapons, like, do you need arrows, bullets?
I was wanting to get maybe another dagger or two to be able to throw. So I just have the one.
Okay. Yeah, you can find daggers on sale for about 2 gold pieces each.
I'm going to buy 2 more. So that's 4 more gold.
And also, I'll say they probably gave you more like paper and ink and stuff to write with. So you don't have to keep track of that in your inventory. They'll just keep replenishing that for you.
Cool. Should we get some more potions of healing?
Yep, you can find them 50 gold pieces each.
Let's see, we have... How many potions of healing do we have?
You had 5 in total.
We had 5 in total, okay. Should we maybe get 1 or 2 more? I don't know what else anyone wants to spend our money on. I feel like we've got it. I feel like we should at least... I feel like we could spend 200 and, like, be good.
Mm.
Yeah, you could just pocket the rest of that money.
Yeah.
I would argue
I also feel like... Oh, go ahead.
maybe a potion of rest. Especially if somebody starts getting like a point of exhaustion.
How much are those?
Those are also 50 gold pieces. I'll just say any common potion is 50.
Okay. So how about 1 of healing and 1 of rest? Is everyone good with that?
Yep.
Okay.
I am.
Who wants the rest and who wants the second healing? I can take a second healing.
I can take a rest.
Perfect. So we are at 144 gold and 26 silver gone. Does anyone have anything else that they want to buy?
I'll say if you're in the store with magic, you do notice a pair of nice boots for 30 gold pieces. They are boots of false tracks. Basically, you can wear them, and if you leave tracks, you can make it look like tracks that are different from your own, like tracks of a different type of creature.
That's interesting, but then you also reminded me about snowshoes. Do we need snowshoes? Are those separate from cold outfit?
Yeah, those will be separate items. And there's other, also like regular survival gear if you wanted like tents or things to start fire or rope or any just regular stuff.
Do we plan on staying in the city with the people? Or like, are we just gonna, during the new moon, are we gonna sleep in a tent outside the city so we don't go into the lottery? Are we gonna use the snow globe?
Yeah, that's probably smart.
How big are the tents?
Let me see.
I guess y'all need it more than me. Well,
You get a 2-person
get cold
tent
out there.
for 2 gold pieces.
Would the tent also include
cheap.
like a sleeping bag, or is that separate? Or
That would be separate.
okay. Or wait,
I have. Yeah, I got a blanket and bedroll
I'll say
already.
never mind. We have a bedroll. I think that comes standard.
Yep. Each bedroll is 1 gold piece.
Should we get
Just-
snowshoes for everybody? Sorry, going back to that. Should we? Like,
I mean, aren't there stores up there where we could see what it's like and then buy stuff as needed, or are we going to be out there?
You know, Bryn Shander is like a big trading hub. That's that's basically where everyone from the south comes up, and they mostly trade things for fish bone art. But there's likely to be places to go shopping in Bryn Shander. But you know that Neverwinter, being a metropolis city, is likely to have more resources. So
Neverwinter is where we're at right now.
Yep, you're in Neverwinter.
Is that where we're going?
That's where you're at now.
Okay.
You teleported there.
To build a fire, do you need to use a tinderbox each time?
I think that would help. Let's see. Yeah, it's a flint and tinder. You would use that to light up some kind of fuel source. So you could probably use it to you can use it to kindle a fire. Usually you would soak it in oil or something like that first to help it along, but you could use it to make a spark, basically.
Earl is not very not very stealthy or anything, but I'm guessing if nobody has this, a lockpick.
I feel like I had something like that. Let me see.
Yeah, you could pick up some thieves' tools. Those would be 25 gold pieces.
Might as well.
I think somebody should have that. You don't want him to be the
smart.
though. Earl's got like neck disadvantage on stealth.
I can take that.
So, did 25, so that puts us at 169 gold. Anybody need anything else?
I don't think so, since I think we're kind of just waiting to go up there, and then we can buy extras when we get to the 10 towns. Or so we hope.
Right? It's like, who knows? We get up there and like everyone's dead and gone.
This is the fun part because you're gearing up, but you don't really know what you're gearing up for.
Yeah.
But you have all of the opportunity for everything pretty much right here. So
I almost feel like we probably can get this in the 10 towns, but if they're a fishing village, some fishing gear, animal traps.
you can find
I'm
fishing
sure they have
tackle.
that up there.
Yeah, it would cost you about 1 gold pieces for a kit that gives you like a fishing rod, a line, bobbers, hooks, sinkers, all that stuff.
I'll get that. I'll get fishing gear.
Okay. 1 gold. On D&D Beyond, it's called fishing tackle.
Okay.
You said 1 gold?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, well, if that's all we're doing, we've used 170 gold and 26 silver from. Whoever wants to do that math to figure out what we've got left.
Just under half is left.
Okay.
So what's that, like 120-ish, somewhere in there?
Okay. Jack, you keeping that record? That there's 120 now. For whatever else, I guess, spending we want to do later.
Oh, I'm keeping the gold. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
120 gold pieces and how many silver?
You said you spent 170.
170 gold and then 26 silver we spent.
So yeah, you're at 129 gold.
Okay.
And you said 29 silver you spent?
26.
26. So then you have... What was that? I was at 129, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're down to 127 gold and 6 silver.
I think we should keep the rest.
For later, yeah.
Yeah. And just make sure that the money is secure.
I don't think anyone's going in his shell anytime soon.
Never know. Might get lucky. But I guess that'd go against my religious convictions. And I think I'm generally dirty.
All right. Anything else you guys want to see or do in Neverwinter while you have your last day before you head out?
Let's take
I'm
one
sure
big
there was
look
like a
around.
Yeah, you guys, in kind of the nicer section of the city, there's a kind of an island floating in the sky. What has a tavern/inn on it. It's called the Moonstone Mast. It's a popular destination.
Yeah, it is. I know exactly what that is.
So you guys can go hang out there and have a dinner. I'll say don't bother recording the cost of it. Candlekeep will cover your travel expenses, and we'll just work that out later.
Cool.
So yeah, you guys have a good meal and a good night, and you are up bright and early at the docks to catch a boat to Fireshare. And I think we can wrap it up there for tonight. It's a super exciting night of travel and discussion and shopping. But
I feel like first episodes are always like that, though. Like, you've got to get that out of the way.
Yeah,
it's always very context heavy.
Yeah, at least you guys know like the premise now. We got what's going on. It's been that's the tough thing about being the DM, because you read this cool story, but then you can't like talk about it with anyone. And I was like, no, I have to keep the secrets until the time comes. So I've been. It's a cool setting. So I'm excited that we'll get to see it next time. I think if we get there, we've got still a bit of a journey ahead. But it is
if we get there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the morning of Eliasis the 13th, and you will be boarding a boat. All right, that's all we've got for this evening. Does anyone want to shout out anything that's going on? No, we're all boring. Okay. We're not we're not advertising for anything. All right, then that's it. All right, have a good game. We'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.